I think we live. We are
We in the
live.
Matrix here. There we go.
Yeah, you know what
Yes,
I'm
sir. Yes,
saying?
sir.
But it's starting for some reason. I don't know why it's not starting. Here we go.
There we go. Action.
Oh
We
no.
got action.
What's tripping? Damn. Show can't
Yeah,
start.
it's
There you
it's
go.
sitting there. Oh, yeah, there we go. The countdown going now.
There
The
you go.
countdown popping off.
There you go. Man, hey man, we got a great show lined up, bro. We gonna have a great
Yes, we do.
conversation. We gonna talk football.
Fact.
Oh yeah, damn. You know what? And we gonna have the phone lines open.
Yes, sir.
We gonna have the phone lines open. So all right, so we gonna have
Calling in.
yes sir, yes sir. We gonna have a good conversation, sports, football, all that stuff, man. All that good stuff, man.
Yeah, almost that time.
You already know. You already know. Hey, is
24-second
LeBron
shot
has
clock,
LeBron
man.
retired yet? Has LeBron retired yet? I'm like, bro, this is
LeBron
like,
just
Man,
put somebody in the poster last night.
oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Bron
damn.
got 5 more years, man. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, man.
Maybe he still
LeBron just
got
put
it.
somebody in.
He still got it.
LeBron's putting up 21, 6, and 7.
Damn. Like inefficient too, huh?
Yeah,
Damn. Damn.
41 is the new 20, huh?
Bruh.
man.
Hey, man. Don't forget to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
He's gone! 10-5 touchdown! Raiders!
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
I'm with the homie.
We live. Man, we back. We back for another edition of Around the Shield. Man, we got a special guest in the building, man. We got Adal Usman NFL in the building, man. We got to give him that Raiders salute. We got to give him that Raiders salute, man. Hey, I'm just giving y'all the heads up, man. He is a 49er fan. I'm just going to let's get it out the way right now. But he knows his stuff, man. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk everything good about what's going on with the NFL right now, which is the off season, the draft season. We're going to get into all that good stuff. Adal, man, what's going on, bro? How you been?
Life's good, man. Can't complain. All I can say is the NFL is a year-round 365 event.
Oh, yes,
and
sir.
every other sport better figure out how to reach the masses, because what the NFL is doing right now, one, I think this is the greatest offseason we've experienced. So I'm happy to be here to talk about that. But life is good. The activity keeps us busy.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%, man. And this channel knows us well, because we've been locked in for twice a week. You know what I mean? With 50-50 show around the Shield, whether it's the regular season, the off season, it doesn't matter. I was gonna get damn. It's kind of last minute, but I did want to get into like a mock draft, but we'll probably save it for another time. If we have some time, maybe, possibly. But in a minute, we'll open up the lines too as well. It is the call-in show every Thursday. Around the Shield is the call-in show, so I'll put that number up in a few. But if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, as we like to say it on this channel, man. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels. When I say both, I mean PharoahNFL, myself, obviously the Severe Raider in the building. So make sure to subscribe if it's your first time joining us. Not subscribing one, subscribe to both. Just do it. Come on. And you running around the corner of 2K. Did you hit the 2K number? You getting close?
Not yet. I'm like 44, I think, away. 44 away.
Hey, we got to get my man to 2K, man. Everybody watching, everybody that's going to watch the show, the replay, whatever, we got to get this man to 2K. It's a big number, so make sure to subscribe. And also a new thing on YouTube is to hype the video. So if you guys watching a replay and everybody watching live, when you guys go back to the video again, definitely, if you see that hype button, definitely hype the video. Be much appreciated. Let's just get into it, man. You called it one of the best off seasons. That's crazy. That's one of the best off seasons. I want you to explain yourself. Why do you think this is one of the best off seasons in recent memory in the NFL?
Okay, where do I start, man? The Max Crosby debacle, right? That's what makes me remember what's going on. Like,
that's not great.
Look, no, it is, and let me tell you why it's great, right? Because what the NFL has been missing since the mid 2000s was that the NBA had that mid-season and like that trade deadline really brought the excitement to the game right before the playoffs. And I remember growing up, and in-season trades were not something it's not going to happen as frequently. You would maybe have a quarterback or some DNs and other positions moving around, but this offseason, it was the perfect storm of 10 head coaches fired and 10 organizations going in a different direction. That's nearly 30% of the entire league. Mm-hmm. Now that means there's a lot of turnover, and then personnel's change. But if we want to just look at the Raiders, for example, going and getting Tyler Linderbaum, making a trade for Taron Johnson, getting ancillary pieces like Nakobe Dean. I haven't seen the Raiders act like that in a long time, and I'm just focused on the Raiders. But it's just unheard of, unprecedented that the same amount of trades that happen in this, NFL free agency, I think totals the exact amount of trades that happened for an entire season last year. So that alone just shows you the activity was different. So how did you feel going through that as a Raider fan, though? Because this is a transition right now.
I mean, I think everybody knows how I feel. I mean, just to sum it up, I sum it up to calling the Ravens scumbags. You know what I mean? Because it's not the fact that they didn't want to make the trade. It's the fact that they agreed to the trade, waited about 4 or 5 days to go by, which meant that they were still weighing their options while they already publicly agreed to the trade, and then tried to act like the reason why they pivoted away from Max Crosby was because of his injury, which they did plenty of research, had all the information, had all the whatever they needed in order for them to agree to the trade publicly. But they wanted us to make us believe that that was the main reason. We all know what the reason was. It was because, Trey Hendrickson was still on the market, and he was available at a number that they were open to paying him, and without giving up 2 first-round picks. So to me, that it was really obvious, but it was just funny to see who was connected or who was actually representing the Ravens and what the message that they want to put out. And I remember those guys too, and I know Severe does too as well. But to me, it was just like I was kind of disappointed that the Raiders were in a situation again where they're in the news for all the wrong reasons, but not necessarily their fault. You know what I'm saying? This is a situation where, you probably hear a lot of Raider fans say a lot like, man, we got screwed by the league again. You know what I mean? Like, because we got that mentality from, the late great owner of Al Davis of the Raiders, where it's me against everybody else. And he kind of like pushed that on to the fans. And now the fans always, anytime there's something that goes a little bit against the Raiders, they're always questioning, like, man, the league is at it again. The refs are at it again. It's very common to talk to a Raider fan and them talking about how, but this situation, man, it makes you think, like, it's crazy. But for me, it was just frustration, man. Severe, I don't know, I'm sure he feels a little more the same, but.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about the situation, man. I'm still mad about 14. I was excited about that 14th overall pick, man. I already had, it's like as I described it before, like you get some extra money in your account, and you're like, oh dang, okay, I got extra few $100. Okay, damn, this is a pair of shoes, or what I'm gonna do with this? I'm gonna do this and do that, and then you find out, oh, this was a mistake, and they gotta take it back. Like, hold up, now, I already made plans for this money. Now y'all taking it back. Like, I had plans for 14, and now y'all done snatched it back from me. So, it was that whole thing. I was pissed off about. And then like we already had to deal with. So already having to deal with all the Max Crosby fans that were, crying and boo-hooing and yelling at us because we was happy about the trade, because we was trying to build toward the future, and so we already had to go through that. So we already had to deal with it, but their cries and complaints only to have the trade, rescinded. So now it's like, well, I don't get to erase that, all those people yelling at us and being negative about it. So it was just having to go through that whole ordeal, and because we had basically made up in our mind and come to grips with, hey, you know what? He's been the best player on his team for the past X amount of years. He's no longer going to be here. We've moved on. And then all of a sudden he's back. And I'm sure the Raiders had plans for that extra $30 million. And then all of a sudden that's $30 more million on the cap. So that essentially ended our free agency, like right there, or any potentially bigger moves we could have had. So it was just a whole debacle. But me and Pharaoh say all the time, man, like it's never boring being a Raiders fan. It may not be fun. It may not be, you may not see a lot of wins. You might. But you can never say the Raiders are a boring franchise. They're always doing something. It's always a lot of activity. A lot of times it's negative activity, but it's always a lot of activity. And then just seeing how people responded to the whole trade. I know Amy Trask, Pharaoh, you sent me that clip. Amy Trask initially, she was like, oh, I don't think the Ravens did anything negative. I think they was doing what they're supposed to do. And then, Raider Nation shot at her. And then she got a call from an NFL owner like, yeah, I wouldn't be giving the Ravens this much grace on this deal. So then even she had to kind of come back and be like, oh, hold up. I said I didn't think it was anything nefarious going on. But after hearing this from an NFL owner saying, look, I don't think what they did was above board, then she kind of pulled back a little bit on that statement. So that's how something shady went on behind the scenes. But, at this point, it is what it is, man. It's water under the bridge. We can't change it.
Yeah, facts, man. But what was your take on the whole situation? I know you said exciting, which I didn't like, bro. But it is what it is. But
I mean, look, I gotta add some optimism to the conversation, only because I understand how you guys felt, right? it's a team in transition. You got a new head coach. You want to have as many assets to be able to add players in the building that the coach can mold to his liking. So all that, I'm in agreement and lockstep with you guys. I think the only thing that Raiders fans have maybe lost sight of is you guys know how great Max Crosby is, but how much greater somebody of his caliber can be when he has teammates that can help him produce the same way that he's been producing with, like you guys said, teams that haven't performed up to the NFL level. And quite frankly, it's time for the Raiders to make that decision as an organization. And I think, Tom Brady, Spy Tech, a lot of the moves that were made, you could see that they were in alignment. And I think for the first time, as someone who loves seeing teams come back, resurging, especially a storied franchise like the Raiders, you brought up, the late great Al Davis. He's a pioneer to the NFL, right? What the AFL stood for and what it still stands for, and that those rivalries still exist till this day. And for me, I have a bone to pick with Ravens fans because I don't know what's going on in Baltimore, but we're in the Bay Area and we like to have honest conversations, and they're just trying to make us feel as if we didn't experience this whole saga for what it was, right? GM Eric DaCosta is someone that's been known to be risk averse, pulls a lot of, let's just say sly moves because I want to be respectful, but this was not professional, and it was almost like they were playing poker at an NFL trade, through an NFL trade, and I just didn't like that. It's unbecoming of what the league is.
Yeah.
But again, the thing that excites me is so many teams felt it necessary to make moves. They're compelled to try to get better, because if last season was an indication of how open the NFL really is, you have to be confident in the fact that the Raiders are day and night better than they were last year. So going into this next season, I just treat Max Crosby like he was a free agent signing and just act like it never happened. It's a new chapter, and that's where I think the Raiders are focused on. Like, I know you mentioned that 14th pick. For me, if I was the GM in that situation, I would have thought of getting somebody like Omar Cooper Jr., even if it's a reach, just to make sure Mendoza's comfortable, or get him a teammate in there. But look, the Raiders have so many picks, and beyond that, the division, although people would say the Raiders are at the bottom of that division, I just don't think that's the case. I really think the games have to be played this year for me to be confident and see, I don't know how Patrick Mahomes will return. I don't know how Denver's quarterback will return. I'm just slipping on his name right now.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix. He had a big injury, but I think it's just one of those things, it's just going to be a war of attrition. I don't necessarily feel like what we've seen the last few years will dictate things going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm in agreement with the receiver. I don't know about Omar Cooper Jr. at 14, but it was. I thought it was like, it sucks seeing a mock draft and seeing that was it a recent mock draft? I don't know if it was. I think it might have been by Daniel Jeremiah, which is big guy, and he was like, he had at number 14, he had the Ravens taking Jordan Tyson, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And in a situation where Jordan Tyson's on the board and the Raiders, who clearly need an starting X receiver, number one, that's like a dream come true for him to drop all the way down to number 14, which we're hearing that might not happen, but he's one of those guys right now that a lot of people think that he's going to drop just because of the injury concerns that some of these teams are having. But we'll see what happens. But if he drops to number 14 and the Ravens draft him, man, that's.
You think the Ravens will go wide receiver though? Because I was just looking at some of the people that they lost. I think they lost Charlie Collard to the Chargers, and they lost Isaiah Likely to the Giants.
Yeah.
So the Harbaugh brothers were busy on that front, but I think someone like Kenyon Sadiq could be in play, because I don't know. Do you trust Mark Andrews to kind of be your premier tight end?
Well, they just paid him.
Yeah.
They paid him. So what does that tell you? That tells you okay,
that's not a priority, maybe.
Yeah, this is our guy. I think Jordan Tyson would just be a BPA situation. Give another weapon to to Lamar. But yeah, it could be a Sadiq, because Sadiq's a freak at tight end. He's the best tight end.
Because I wouldn't see him as a tight end in the NFL, really. I'd see him probably, I mean, he would be a tight end positionally, but the way they would probably line him up, he a lot of 2 tight end sets, because that's how Isaiah Likely was able to prosper in the pass game. So I'm like, if you're talking about Tyson, for example, at Arizona State, or you're looking at Kenyon Sadiq, like the measurables and the height and everything that you're looking for is there. So like, Kyle Pitts is the modern tight end that people are trying to, I guess find like that same type of player. But yeah, I think, again, it goes back to the Ravens, probably, like you said, wanting to keep their cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
And when they realized the Raiders in that position, like where they were committed, like you said, with the cap space, they just pulled the rug from up under the Raiders. And that's
we got a question here, man. Shout out to my guy Raider Pete. Got a good question here. Who will be the Shador of the 2026 draft? Ranked high, then slides. So if it's not Shador, Will Levis was a guy in the past that was, mocked to go early, but then goes in the second round. Obviously, Shador is like an extreme case. He was supposed to go in the first, or even late the second, went all the way down to the fifth. Who's the guy that you can see sliding? Like I mentioned, Jordan Tyson. Is he that guy right now, or do you see somebody else?
Just any position.
Any position.
Any position.
You know what, man? I think a lot of people had Caleb Downs at 2 to the Jets, but seeing the moves that they made for like Minkah Fitzpatrick, I could see Caleb Downs ending up on a different team, because that had been a lock for a good, I want to say, month and a half, maybe 2 months. So that's the one that really jumps out at me right now. And that could in turn affect like Sonny Styles, or Arvell Reese will probably stay relatively high into that draft.
Yeah. So you got Caleb Downs kind of dropping like what, outside of the top 10 or somewhere in the top 10?
No, I mean, I would just say like he's probably in play anywhere from 3 to 9. And I'm only saying that because some teams may change, like they might have been locked in on like a D end, and last minute they'll get an offensive tackle. So I think these pro days will make that last shift in how teams evaluate these talents.
Yeah, 39. That's not too bad. Obviously, top 3 is top 3, but
he's talking 5th round slide. I really can't come to terms on that.
Well, not fifth round. Like, let's say a guy that was projected to go top 10 but drops somewhere in the bottom of the first, maybe early second. It's kind of hard to predict that, because usually stuff like that kind of surprises us. But that's what I was thinking.
Makai Lemon might be somebody that might drop, and I think I've seen some comments, and people are saying he's doing it purposely to land on a team, but who knows what his strategy is, what his agents and things like that. But I genuinely don't think that was like his approach. He was just answering that question. But perception is reality a lot of times, and for whatever reason, the good character that he had for as long as he was at USC was undone by like a 5-second clip.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much, man. I don't think anybody this year will have a Shador like slide. Like that was an anomaly. Like outside of the first round, I understood, because I thought there's a chance he might not go in the first round. I already told people, like, I thought Jackson Dart, will probably go before him. But I didn't think he'd get out of the second round. And then once he got past the third round, I was like, this is suspect. So so I don't think that we have anything like that. A guy that might fall, Caleb Banks is a guy, that foot injury. From projections from where he was to where he might end up going, I think that's a guy that might fall. Jermon McCoy from Tennessee, I think he's a guy that a lot of people probably had a CB1 coming into last year. Obviously, Mansour Delane is that now, but just missing basically the entire season with the ACL. A guy that should be a first-round talent, top 10 talent, without any workouts, without ever being able to see what he did at all last year. I think he'll probably drop, maybe to the second round. Trying to think anybody else. I mean, think about Jordan Tyson. There's a possibility there with the injury history. How much are teams going to take that into consideration? I know medicals are going to be huge for him. Ruben Bain, the arm length. I know that's been something that's been talked about with him a lot, just because there's that stat where nobody with less than 31-inch arms has ever in the history of the NFL had a 10-sack season like that. So you got a lot of history working against you in that situation. So is a team going to want to invest a first-round pick in a guy that's going to have to basically, break the mold and do something that's never been done before? Usually teams are calculating. So, like it's like the Dave Chappelle skit. We talking about baby, it's okay to be the first person to do something, but you never want to be the first black person to do anything. Like, you don't want to be the GM that took this short arm dude and then he ended up being a bust, right? So I think teams might take a risk averse approach to him. Those are the main guys. I think Mekhi Lemon is a good one too, just because, like you said, those were the whispers and the questions about like his character and all that stuff after. And I heard he didn't interview well at all either, just like in the individual sessions, not only at the podium. So he's a guy that could slip, because the NFL is all about character. So I mean, there's a few guys that can slip and be drafted lower than expected, but I don't think anybody's going to have like just a tremendous fall like Shedeur did.
Yeah, it's hard to predict that. Like that was kind of surprising. I mean, I was surprised. This is way back. I remember when Aaron Rodgers dropped. I don't know if y'all remember that. Aaron Rodgers dropping.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy, and that was just in the first. And then Will Levis dropping was crazy too, because
what about Lamar Jackson? That for me is like the craziest one.
Yeah. Lamar was crazy.
Yeah. Will Levis wasn't crazy to me, but A-Rod was crazy for sure, though.
Well, the reason why I said Will Levis, not because I felt like he should have went number one. It was more so because everything leading up to the draft had him being at least like the third QB taken, third, fourth QB. Like everybody had him.
That's at worst too.
Yeah, everybody had him going.
He was invited to the draft.
Exactly, man. But what do you think of Bain, man? Because I know Bain and Arvo Reese, they had their pro days this week, and everybody's been talking about like the difference in the drills that they did, and you could see Bain having that like really elite bend going through the drills, and then you look at Arvo Reese, a guy that has all the measurables, kind of like just look a little stiff. You know what I mean? He didn't look as bendy as like a Ruben Bain. But then Severe, he brought up the point about the short arms, which is a valid point. I mean, what do you think of Bain as a prospect? Do you think that he should go early, top 10? Like, I know you didn't mention him earlier as a guy dropped him, but what do you think of him in comparison to Arvo Reese? Who's your guy?
I'm more comfortable, and I'm not sure who you were asking, but I'll just say Arvell Reese, for the type of linebacking core that he was a part of. Like, him and Sonny Styles were polar opposites. Like, Sonny Styles really excelled like when he was dropping into coverage, maybe like disguising what they were trying to do. And then Arvell Reese, I think you might say he's stiff, but a lot of things that I would argue is like the workouts that people do in the individual drills, that's a data point, but it shouldn't be your deciding factor, and once the pads come on, once the helmet comes on, and then, just the IQ and how you can make plays, the angles that you take, the technique that you have when you tackle, I just would be more comfortable with Arvell Reese, and quite frankly, like that arm length thing, I used to kind of scoff at that. I didn't really think that was a measurable that mattered, but at the end of the day, it does help you create leverage, and the NFL is all about leverage and using your body weight. And, I just don't know how that will work. And, historical data points like that, where you say nobody's been able to produce 10 sacks with those measurables. So like, everything points in the direction of Arvell Reese. And to be honest, before any of the combines, any of the workouts happened, they were talking about him like as the premier defensive player, the best defensive player overall. So I'll have to just stick to that because that's consistency. I think in the film speaks volumes.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Space B says Raiders are getting a lot of 30 visits for wide receivers now. Clearly, they're going to draft one early. I don't know, man, because sometimes do you think I doubt like, and Severe, you could chime in on this too. Do you think like teams use top 30 visits to like kind of build like a smoke screen a little bit to let teams think that they're going to be interested in this position, but in reality, they're really trying to make sure they can get that prospect at the spot they want to pick them at. In this case, the second round is where the Raiders are going to be looking to draft another position outside of, we all kind of know like that number one pick is on the quarterback, so we're not going to talk about it. But I mean, I doubt, like, do you think that is a smoke screen, or do you think can you read into it and be like, hey, you know what, the Raiders are going to be drafting a wide receiver with all these wide receiver visits?
Usually I would lean towards the smoke screen, and you want to get people off the track that you're walking on. You want to give them a scent to go chase. But this year it's different. Like when I told you this when we spoke over the phone, I really feel like the Raiders are in this transition period, but it's very similar to the 2019 San Francisco 49ers. Now, Raider fans, please don't come for me. I know the franchises are completely different, but in a lot of ways, these coaching trees, there's a lot of connections between Kubiak, Kyle Shanahan. And so I would just say, like, with the draft picks that you have at your disposal, I would not put off that the Raiders would try to trade up into the first round, packaging something else. Because if the wide receiver position has been something you've needed, especially since the departure of Devontae Adams, this is the year to swing for the fences, because if you miss, you're most likely going to hit on Fernando Mendoza. So as a GM, this year the Raiders probably have no reason to confuse people. But like if they hit on everything this year going into the next offseason, I could see that being like their strategy. Like, oh, we don't, because then at that point you might be playing for, at least the divisional title. So, yeah, that's where I'll stand on that right now. I think it's very clear that teams do that historically, but the Raiders right now, you don't need to fake the funk. You don't need to play into the gimmicks. I think what you've been doing has been effective. And, you get a Nick Bosa and you get a Deebo Samuel in a draft, and Dre Greenlaw later on in the draft, and the Raiders could be contending. It really just takes one offseason. The Niners had 2 wins that year in 2018. Kyle Shanahan comes in, they make those draft picks, and so that's where I see the Raiders right now, to be completely honest.
Okay, very optimistic vision on the Raiders and what you see from the team. I mean, Severe, do you feel the same way? Do you feel like these top 30 visits are kind of showing us a little bit of what the Raiders are interested in, or you think it's smoke screen, or how do you feel?
I think it's both. I mean, at this time, your whole intention is to gather information, gather intel on what other teams are doing, while also trying to ensure that they don't know what you're trying to do. So, are the Raiders genuinely interested in all of these prospects? No, I don't believe so. But does it benefit the Raiders to bring these prospects in, because they'll likely be facing them at some point anyway? So why not figure out what makes a guy tick? Why not, get to know him, find out a little bit about him, and then at the same time, it's subterfuge. You just go ahead, you throwing some stuff out there. If teams want to latch onto it, let them latch onto it. But it could be a situation where sometimes, like you're hiding in plain sight. Like the Raiders, like I don't know if Pete Carroll was doing it on purpose, and I don't think I doubt it. But when they got to talking about Aston Genty, and he was like, "Oh, quiet, it's fine, don't talk about it." It's like everybody knew they had some, and people were like, "Oh my God, the Raiders took Aston Genty. We had no idea." But Pete Carroll was literally being performative at a press conference in front of the entire world when talking about Aston Genty. So you didn't know at all they had any I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's some genuine interest there, but there's also, you want to throw teams off the trail a little bit, just because that helps you execute how you would like to execute on draft day. And the teams that are behind you don't know what you're going to do, then in some instances that creates situations where they may feel they have to trade up. They might have to trade in front of you and take a guy that they thought you were going to grab and actually didn't want, leaving a guy that you actually want there for you to take.
We'll see, man. If you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all see the number on the screen. Call the number 856-209-5978. Y'all want to add to the conversation, talk about Raider football, the draft obviously is incoming, the off season so far, all that good stuff. Y'all have a question, y'all want to chop it up, you see the number on the screen, man. The call in number 856-209-5978. Hey, I want to talk about this with y'all, man, because I seen this and I think Severe before the show I don't think we're talking about it a little bit. Tom Brady had a recent quote about man, he got to be trolling. He has to be trolling just a little bit. And I don't know how if the question was worded or he volunteered this information, but he kind of came out and said that he actually looked into playing in the NFL while being an owner and was flat out told no. How do y'all how do you feel about the answer that Tom Brady gave? Do you feel like he was trolling, or do you think that he actually was trying to come and play? I mean, I'm thinking he's gonna play for the Raiders. If you're an owner, you're owner of a team. I'm thinking the team that you're gonna want to help the most, the team that you own, because that is gonna put more money in your pockets. Thanks. So, do you see that? Like Tom Brady was thinking about that? Do you think that was a real situation?
Yeah, I genuinely feel like the way Tom Brady's career ended showed you that he felt he could still do it at a high level, right? Him and LeBron, unprecedented careers, but the NFL is unforgiving. And for the simple fact that Tom Brady has so many contracts and obligations outside of the NFL now, I think serves everything that he does from a business perspective to keep people engaged like that and to, leak out little comments like that. Like, I could have played the year that I initially bought them, but Tom is firmly in retirement. Like, he played in a flag football game, this past weekend. And I think for that to happen around the same time, just tells me it was part of a bigger marketing, ploy and just helping grow the game of flag football. And Tom Brady's an ambassador for the NFL now. 7 championships. I think there's nothing he would gain from coming back to play. That's not just for the Raiders, but all 32 teams in the NFL. What he's done, he's just trolling at this point. He's having fun, man. And you know what, Tom? Have a day.
Yeah. I mean, Severe, are you buying it? You buying it?
I will believe that he inquired. Because much like you guys, I haven't actually heard the quote itself. So it's kind of hard to take context from the quote, but he did say he inquired. He also said the NFL didn't like that very much, and that several avenues were discussed or explored. And then he said, at the end, you know what, I'm very happily retired. So I think he was legitimate, and I'm sure that there was, I'm sure there was some things discussed, maybe putting his share of the team in the trust, so that way, he could, play and technically not own the team at that particular time while he's playing. And I'm sure there were things like that were discussed. I'm sure he legitimately wants to get back on the field. He trains like he plays, like he still plays. So I'm sure a part of him misses the game, and especially after going out there, playing in a flag football game. You make some of those connections again, and some of those synapses reconnect, and you remember yourself going out there and throwing the football in a competitive sense, and unlike playing basketball or even like boxing or something like that, where you can get some friends together, you can get in the gym, and you can you can throw the gloves, you can get some guys together, you can get in the gym and you can shoot some hoops, right? Football, there's not really anything that can really simulate that. So being out there, I'm sure he misses that. So I think it was a legitimate inquiry. I think he still has legitimate interest, but I'm sure the NFL quashed it just as quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, they just don't want that. They don't want all the because I think what it is, it's the other owners are not going to like it. That's really what it is.
Oh, for sure not.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that advantage. They don't want Tom Brady being would that automatically disqualify him for being being with Fox?
Yeah,
because there's no way there's no way you can play Raider game. All right, I'm about to go do the 49
exactly
and Seahawks game
exactly
on Sunday Night Football. Like that's not gonna happen. But yeah, I think a lot of it is because the owners are hating. To be honest with you, I don't think they want that to. They don't want the look of a player owning a football team but also playing, and then like what that could, the messages that could be sent. Like what is Brady trying to do? I don't know. It just seems like a lot of that hate came from the owners. I don't think as fans we would love to see it. Like we would love to see something like that. But I can see
you gotta think too. It just came to my mind is like Michael Jordan's stint with the Wizards. Like,
yeah,
I feel like that's probably the closest athlete in terms of accomplishments who had the option. He eventually ended up being an owner, but like I think that's the middle ground. Is like you can stay connected to the game, but we can't have you diluting the product, which is current players, right? Because if Tom Brady comes back, that's overshadowing everything.
Right. Facts, 100%. Hey, DJ, I couldn't find any reports about what you put up earlier. You said Robbins. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, I was looking too. I didn't see anything either. So yeah, I mean, it may be on Twitter. Sometimes it takes a little while before like the media picks it up. So maybe it's on Twitter or TMZ. TMZ gets stuff like super fast. I know their sources. So
I know. I remember my boy hitting me up when Kobe died, and he just sent me like a quick hey, Kobe died, and I was like, what are you talking about? And I was looking, and it wasn't nowhere. It wasn't nowhere, but it was just like TMZ. The only place that had it was TMZ that was reporting it, and then from there it spread like wildfire. But so I know exactly what you mean by that. So it could be true, but I'm just not seeing it anywhere.
I had a quick question for you too, bro. While we're talking about it, we were talking about top 30 visits. Najee Harris is someone that's been rumored to be joining either the Niners or the Raiders. I think he's speaking with both teams. Is that something you're interested in off of an Achilles injury, or are you just kind of taking a flyer on that?
Me personally, I'd rather pass. He was not really an explosive running back to begin with. I do like the experience, and judging by what Kubiak said to begin the offseason when he talked about the running back room, he did specifically say he wants a two-back system. So a lot of people were like saying like, don't look too much into it. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, why would you go out your way and say two-back system? I'm not saying he doesn't feel that Genty is a good back. It's just I feel like that number 2 back would have to be capable to come in there and give him quality carries. So on paper, I can see a Najee Harris being a good option, but he is coming back from an Achilles injury, which that's a tough injury, man. There's no way around it. Like that's a tough injury in sports,
especially a running back.
Yeah, especially a running back that wasn't really that explosive to begin with. And I know he made his bread and butter as being a physical back, so maybe that he has that going for him. But how
much different is that than Genty, anyways? Though, to be honest, I feel like it's the same prototype, right? You need, I think, change of pace. I'm sorry.
Man, yeah. Well, look, it depends on what the contract is. It has to be one of those contracts where it's whether it's
1 year, very minimum. It wouldn't be nothing big.
Being like nothing, no big guarantee, in my opinion. To be honest, we're at a point where, I was looking at Brian Robinson. You're familiar with him. Played for the 49ers, played for the Commanders. Fits that zone scheme. He got picked up. He got signed. I forgot what team did he go to Dolphins? Atlanta. So
Atlanta.
Went to Atlanta. There were some other backs that I wanted, but they ended up getting signed somewhere else. So this might be a situation where the Raiders kind of go into the draft. When you get to that fourth round, fourth through 6, you probably can find another guy, a talented guy maybe. A guy that I like, I don't know how you feel about him, is Mike Washington Jr. I'm not sure if he's going to last that long, but if he's there in the fourth, you feel like the Raiders should pull the trigger on a running back. Duh.
I mean, it really, again, just from familiarity with what Clint Kubiak was doing up here, right? Kenneth Walker was dealing with a lot of injuries before the Super Bowl season, and ultimately him and Zach Charbonnet, there were different backs. Like Charbonnet was kind of getting a lot of the carries, but Kenneth Walker was able to really get them into the red zone, and Charbonnet was like the final punch, so to speak. So like, it just depends what the prototype for the offense is going to be, because now that you guys have made an investment in the line, I would want to get a between the tackles type of runner, because I think Genty still has so much potential, like you said, in the outside zone read option type of offense. But it really just it will require him and Mendoza to get some timing together. So I think that's why it's like really important for you to get a back that one can, if need be, have 3-4 carries depending on opponents that you play. But I'm not really necessarily big on this running back class. I think it's very top heavy. So again, like you said, it would just come down to what school are you drafting out of and how much experience did that player get in college. I don't have a favorite beyond Love out of Notre Dame, because I think he's like the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from, okay, so obviously for me, I'm looking at the Raiders running back room. I think it needs to be revamped. They have plenty of other needs that are way more priority, so I'm not going to really talk about it too much, but I do look at the Raiders running back room as being Genty, and then that's about it. So I can see maybe to your point, they might pick up a Najee Harris on a very, very cheap deal, possibly gets cut in training camp. That's like how the contract should be set up. Like, it's just because there's so many things that going against him. He's a running back. He's older. He's coming back from a serious injury, like a Achilles injury. But let's say they pick him up, and then they also pick up another running back in the draft somewhere between rounds 4 and 7. You know what I'm saying? So I think that could be the plan for the Raiders if they go that route. Severe, man, what's your take on Najee Harris, man?
I mean, I know we made an attempt last year, I think, and like, he didn't want to come here. I think there was like he's been a guy for like the past 2 or 3 years, I want to say, that's been connected to the Raiders. Obviously, he's from the Bay Area, so they always try to put Najee with the Raiders, but I don't feel we should do it, unless only for like the super vet minimum, because at this point I'd rather just go with a young guy. Like you said, I want a true change of pace back. Kubiak's already said we're going to have a 2-back system. We're going to committee system, so we've sunk resources into Genty already. Him being the 6th overall pick, him having the second most guaranteed money of any running back in the league at the time that he signed his rookie contract. So no, I don't want to put any more resources toward that position than we need to. So I'm perfectly fine getting a running back late in the draft, and going that way, or getting a vet that that was maybe buried somewhere else, but is looking for more of an opportunity with a new team. Like, I'm good with that as well. So I'm trying to think, like, Jaden Ott is a guy that, and he played with Fernando Mendoza at Cal. He's a guy that I think I'd be interested in him. I don't know how far Singleton will fall, but that's a guy that I'm interested in as well. I think Washington will get pushed up boards just because that crazy workout he had. But he's a guy that if we get him in the 4th, okay, I'm good with that. But other than that, like I said, I'm not investing a bunch of resources into the running back position, because I think we've already invested too much, by taking a running back in the 1st round.
Yeah, and I got a call. If you want to call back again, the call-in number, I missed the call. Its call-in number is 856-209-5978. Again, the call-in number is 856-209-5978. Man, we got someone who's familiar with the NFC West. The NFC West, where, the current Raiders head coach was the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. So it would be nice to get your scouting report on Clint Kubiak Obviously the Seahawks won the Super Bowl last year, but the 49ers were able to play them twice a year. You're familiar with him as a coach there. What do you think of him as an offensive-minded coach, but also, like, what do you think of him and his potential as a head coach? Because he's never been a head coach. Being an offensive coordinator is one thing, but being a head coach is another thing. Let us know. Let the people know.
I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier about this being very similar to the 2019 year where the Niners hired Kyle Shanahan. And of course, there's that connection between the Kubiak family and the Shanahan family. So that's something to think about, right? Mike Shanahan was able to win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, and so was Gary Kubiak. So, like, this whole thing about Clint, he worked with the Niners a few years ago as well before he got with the Seahawks. And the thing that I've noticed was he's really efficient using the 2 tight end system. So that was like, Eric Saubert was like their second tight end starting the season. But as the season went on, he was scoring game-winning touchdown against the Rams in their second matchup of the season. So what he's also had is going up against 2 other great Hall of Fame level coaches, right? Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, and he's been able to outwork them. Now, he's really good at finding weaknesses in your defense, and he will continue to run the play to that specific area until you address it. And I think, at some point you can draw up the nice plays, you can have all the schematics in place, but a great coach is one that sees a mismatch and continues to abuse it until they decide to stop it. And that's what I really loved about them, because the first time they played the Niners, it was a close game. It was like 13-3. And then the second time they played, it was like, right, the Niners just got hit that 41-6. And I feel a big reason for that happening, obviously, is, the personnel that they had with Shaheed being able to score before the offense ever got on the field. So once he gets in those positions, though, he doesn't get fancy. He continues to run the offense in a traditional manner. And to have a dad who's a Super Bowl winning head coach, to have worked with Kyle Shanahan, to go to Seattle and give them their championship and being an instrumental part to that, it serves well because you're going up against Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh. So again, the optimism for the Raiders, from my perspective, is not like, I'm from the Bay Area and I want the Raiders to do well. It's just an objective assessment. Like, you have everything lining up for you guys, and if you do what's necessary, and the organization is in alignment, Clint Kubiak is going to quickly show that the Raiders are no longer what the Raiders were in the past. Like, he's really changing the page and flipping the page. And the biggest challenge I would have to Raider fans is to be open to shedding that skin, right? The same way like reptiles do, because it's a metamorphosis or like a complete change to your organization right now. So he's going to be the guy that's spearheading that. And I think it's just a bold statement, but I think he'll have the same success that John Gruden had right when he came in the second time. It's really like, it would have to be like lightning striking the stadium for the Raiders not to have a successful season next year. I'm that confident.
Man, that's crazy. That's high.
More confident than me.
Yeah,
man. It's really that time. It's now or never, really.
Yeah. And I know me and Severe, we've had conversations about Clint. We all know that sometimes not every OC. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call real quick. Severe, just chime in on the topic so I could address this call real quick.
Yeah, man. That OC transition to head coach is not always a seamless one. We've seen guys struggle in the past. Obviously, Josh McDaniels is a classic case of that. But then you got my guy, Norv Turner is another guy, who was a great OC. Couldn't really cut it as a head coach. The list goes on and on. So, it remains to be it kind of remains to be seen how Clint makes that jump, especially since if you look at his tenure elsewhere, outside of the Seahawks, he didn't have a lot of success. Now, you can point to extenuating circumstances. You can say, with the Saints, the guys got hurt. Well, injuries are part of the game. So, like, you mean to tell me, like, if guys get hurt, then you just fall off, so that's part of it. He had some success with Minnesota, but there he had a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins who's already established in the league. So this is going to be a unique situation for him where he's coming in to a tough division. Next year, we play the NFC West, who he has familiarity with, but 3 of those teams were in the playoffs. 2 of them were in the NFC Championship game, so that's already a gauntlet right there. And then, he's going to have to balance on developing a rookie quarterback at the same time while also being a first-time head coach and calling plays. So I think there's a lot kind of going against him, especially in year 1. But if he can kind of compartmentalize and get everything situated and put things in their proper order, I think he can lay a foundation to springboard success going forward. Almost kind of like Mike McDonald did, his first year with the Seahawks.
All right. Exactly. Real quick, hey man, we got a caller on the line, man. Let the people know your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, Severe? What's going on, Pharaoh? Hey, Azal, it's good to see you guys. I'm down in New Mexico, originally from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
And, calling in to say what's up. For the voice with the face and the name and stuff. So it's good to get up with you guys.
That's what's up, man. What's your name?
Laz, L-A-Z.
Laz,
real
man.
name, Larry.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Laz. Hey, what's on your mind, bro? What you want to talk about?
Well, you know what? I know that we've been through the ringer for a long time, but I'm very happy about this hire with Clint Kubiak. I actually wanted him as the offensive coordinator. He dipped over with the Saints. It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't his time. But he's with us now. He's got the pedigree. He has the history. His pops was rolling over there with the dirty Denver Donkeys and stuff. It is what it is. But he's over here with us now. And so, I'm happy. Now, as long as they let the man cook, then cool. This year, he's just getting in the office, and I'm happy Rob Leonard is given the opportunity to go ahead and fill the position on defense. On the offense, it's going to be night and day compared to what we've seen.
Okay.
Because we got some ingredients there to cook with. We got the draft capital. We've seen some very good signings in free agency. I'm super excited, especially with that base 3-4. I mean, there's a lot of schematics that's going to take place and stuff, but it depends on Rob Leonard, of course, because he's got to cook. And the main thing is for me, now I'm not a GM, but I would have signed Kubiak to 7 years with a 4-year option, okay? Because we're dealing with some major overhauling. Special teams got to be right. The defense got to be right. And the offense, well, it's on par. He's an offensive guru. And that's just my line of thinking and stuff. Now, what I was thinking about, okay, and we were talking about this switch up back, change of pace back and everything else. And what I got going on in my mind is, check this out. Now, when it comes to the 4th round, we got a slew of picks right there in the 4th round. Of these names I'm going to name, who stands out to you? Now, I'm looking at Damon Claiborne, Jamari Taylor, Roman Hemby, Kaylon Black, and Rasul Faison. Those are the names I'm looking at. And first and foremost, I'll speak for me. I like Damon Claiborne. I don't mind a back being kind of like on a similar pace with Ashton Genty. I don't have a problem with that because you know what? Thunder behind thunder, hey, something's got to give, and it won't be the back, especially since we're making that line stout. And that's why I think, how about you gentlemen? What do you like? What do you see? What's your viewpoint, especially when it comes having that running back core going on?
That's a good question, man.
Yeah. If out of those names, I mean, obviously Kaylon Black is a guy that Fernando Mendoza will have a lot of familiarity with. I haven't played with at Indiana. I think he was very productive too. I think he kind of has the the requisite athleticism to be a little bit of a change of pace back. Like it doesn't take much to be faster than Ashton Genty, to be honest with you. But so I think he does have the requisite athleticism there. Of those guys, I think Claiborne is probably the most athletic, I would say, or like the speediest guy there. I would take a look at him. But I mean, it just depends on like how far those guys fall. At Kalon Black, he might get pushed up boards just because he has that championship experience. He was very productive last year. Claiborne, he has that speed, but like if he's available there in the 4th round, like I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him. I know DJ asked earlier about Seth McGowan out of Kentucky. He's a guy, he has a little bit of speed and athleticism too. He had a great combine. I want to say he ran like a 4.4, jumped like 40 something inches. But I think with the Raiders, I don't even think we take a look at him because he was dismissed from his school. I can't remember what school he went to. He was dismissed from his school. I think it's his sophomore year. And he spent some time in jail actually because of a armed robbery that he was able to plead down to and like not serve a whole bunch of time in jail. But he is a little bit older as well. But I just think having that rap sheet on him, I don't think the Raiders even look at him. So that was for my guy DJ. But of those guys, I think Claiborne will probably be the guy I would look at first. Claiborne and Black.
For me, Jamari Taylor, from the list that you gave out. I mean, obviously, I brought up Mike Washington Jr. as a guy, like, if he's there in the 4th round, I feel like the Raiders should pull the trigger just based off his traits. And it kind of gives you a physical difference between, Ashton Genty, who is a physical back, but he's what, 5'8" on a good day. And you got Mike Washington, who's like 6'1", 250 at least, or around there. And has legit home run speed. I think he ran a 4.3 as 40 yard time. That was a guy that I like. Now, Jamari Taylor is a guy that I like because I feel like he can give you, I'm not going to say that he's going to give you the same production that Ashton Genty, but he can give you the tough yards, physical back, but also give you something in the pass game too, which means that you can keep him there on 3rd down. And like I said earlier, Clint Kubiak, he went out his way to say a 2-back system. So I'm not saying that they have to get an all-pro at a number 2 running back. What I'm saying is I think they don't want a huge drop-off at that number 2 spot because they're going to be divvying up the carries. Because and Adal, you could speak to this because I know you've watched the Seahawks closely and you kind of seen how they were able to use the running backs out there in Seattle. I mean, if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, I mean, for the simple fact that like someone that stuck out to me first and foremost is like Kalon Black, like we brought up already. He's someone that Mendoza has familiarity with, played in like high pressure games, and they were able to execute. But the concern I have there is just the size. Again, size doesn't determine effectiveness on the field, but can you imagine a 2-back committee system where it's a 5'10" and a 5'9" running back? Like, who are you scaring with that? But again, it's not about scaring people, it's about executing against them, right? But like you said, I think the Seahawks were really good at when Kenneth Walker was starting to get tired and they're getting in the red zone, Zach Charbonnet would punch it in. And that was like the running joke all year, like, Kenneth Walker must be upset at the fact that, during a contract year, he's not able to increase his productivity. But on the back end of that, being spelled like that by Coach Kubiak, he was able to make it count when it mattered most in the Super Bowl. So I think the Raiders, again, have to get a back. I don't have that back's name, but they need to get a back that's a little bit bigger and a bruising type of back, change of pace back that gives you more, efficiency in the red zone, so to speak. Even if he's not getting the handoff, he's able to lay a clean block for Mendoza to have a little bit more time to make a clean throw. So I like the question though, because I think it just depends whether you want speed or you want size, but the Raiders would be smart to go size.
Okay. Hey, Laz, man, we appreciate you calling in, man. Any last thoughts?
you know what? Nah, hey, keep on grinding like you've been doing. I'm enjoying your content and stuff, and, happy to be able to chime in and stuff, and, just to throw in my little 2 cents and stuff. You guys keep on doing an impeccable job, and, I'll be up with you inside the chat and everything else, so y'all take it easy. And thanks for giving me, this moment to, voice myself and, share my insight and my opinion on your platform.
Man, appreciate you, Laz. Appreciate you.
Sure.
Love, man.
All right, later.
All right. Hey, man, that was Laz from Mexico. Man, appreciate him calling in.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, he be in the chat, man. He be in the chat all the time, man.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah, man. Raider fans are worldwide, man. You seen it, I doubt, right now. We from all over, man. We got Raider fans everywhere. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, I'm fighting the urge to make a comment right now that'd be very Niner-like. So I'm gonna keep it internal, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, at least you know, man. Nah, I'm playing, but I know, man. I appreciate you, my guy. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Man, you got me excited about because we spoke about this before. Hearing you talk about like Clint Kubiak, you're super high on him. You're like, you think that this is because, and I was gonna say earlier before we got the call, me and Severe, we talked about like the hire and what we liked about it, and we have honest conversations, and there is a question like, is he a head coach? Because not every great offensive minded coach or coordinator makes that jump and becomes a head coach. There are like horror stories, and the Raiders are very familiar of the horror stories when it comes to great offensive coordinators, but then they don't make great head coaches. And obviously I'm talking about Josh McDaniels, but you're saying Kubiak, he'll have that command of that room. He will be a leader of men, and he will be able to get the respect of the locker room.
I do. The reason why I'm so confident in that is because I see how his brother Clay is also performing with the San Francisco 49ers, right? When they played the Eagles, he makes a lot of it's a collaborative effort with the Niners. Like, if you're going to work for Kyle Shanahan, and I'm bringing this up to point out that this is one of the greatest skill sets you can have as a coach. Like, he's paying attention and observing what Kyle Shanahan likes to do. Then in the midst of that, he literally makes a suggestion for them to do the trick play with Juwan Jennings to McCaffrey against the Eagles. That was Clay Kubiak's call. And if he's performing like that in San Francisco, and then they're facing Seattle twice a year, and Seattle was able to put it to the Niners, and that's against a Robert Saleh-led defense, right? So it's, to me, Raider fans really need to turn the page, because I know it's been 20 years of ups and downs, more downs than ups than we could count. But like, there's no reason to just give the next 5 years to Patrick Mahomes. Like, he needs to earn it just like the Raiders need to. And like, Kubiak is, I think, cut from a different cloth. Like, he didn't skip any steps. And I think someone like McDaniels, he came from an incubated system where I think a lot of the decisions were dictated to him. Where I think the difference with the Kubiaks is they've made decisions, made suggestions, even when they didn't have decision-making power. And now that they do have that power, it's just important that they do what they did, like when they were coming up, finding the young talent. And, the Raiders have a young offensive coordinator. And I think a lot of it is predicated on, again, there's a coach, he's new, and he believes in himself, so he's putting in the right guys. I just don't see the Raiders going Norv Turner, Mike McDaniels, and missing on Kubiak. It's just not possible.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But the big question right now is like, all right, we got the head coach. We just got past free agency. Now it's the draft, right? And
Yes, sir.
we all feel like the number one pick is probably going to be Mendoza. And this week there was a huge debate out of nowhere. You know how the offseason pre-draft process works out. They're trying to work out every scenario, have every conversation. And this week the conversation was Mendoza versus Ty Simpson. Like, who are you higher on? Because Dan Orlovsky from ESPN, he was talking about like, hey, this is QB1. Ty had the best film that he from his viewpoint. Do you think that Mendoza is a worthy number one pick? Because he kind of worded it very interesting in that clip. I don't know if you ever checked it out, where he was breaking down why he felt that Ty Simpson was going to be one. But he said he said he liked Ty Simpson better in that 15 to 20 range than he liked Mendoza in that number one overall pick range or spot. What was your take on that? And what's your take on obviously Mendoza fitting in with the Raiders?
Okay, first of all, man, I think it's never been more clear who the number one pick is from a talent standpoint, from a character standpoint, and from a performance standpoint. Like, he's checked off everything that you've needed. And as a quarterback, I think that's the safe decision. But again, this is, I think, going to be the narrative that follows the Raiders fan base, not necessarily the team, is getting rid of, and I'm not taking shots, but the Raiders are no longer losers. And that mentality needs to be shed, right? And need to move like a championship organization. And so I did find it a bit surprising that Orlovsky, someone who didn't have that much success as an NFL quarterback, but that doesn't negate from the fact that he can give his takes. A lot of people have questioned the credibility of the take because Ty Simpson is a CAA represented NFL player. Daniel Orlovsky as well is represented by CAA, and a lot of people made this same connection with Shadur Sanders last year and the things that he was facing. So that's the optics of it. But Ty Simpson and any quarterback that played in a pro offense or a talented team, they're lucky because for the first time, it hasn't been a multiple quarterback conversation for the top pick, right? So that allows a lot of quarterbacks that are not named Fernando Mendoza to sit back, maybe not even feel the same pressure that a quarterback would feel, right? And you just kind of go through the motions. Like, I'll do my pro day, already completed my combine, there's film out there. And so I can't answer that question of who will be the more effective pro, but any of these guys that played in a big program, if they land in the right situation, Brock Purdy is the current franchise quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So again, these evaluations are not the end all be all, but I don't think it's crazy to say. I think the only part I would disagree with is I trust more in Ty Simpson at 15 through 20 than I do Mendoza at 1. I don't think there's any quarterback who can handle what the Raiders are asking of them besides Mendoza. So take that as you will.
Sheesh, drop the mic moment. Hey, he's basically saying, let's turn the card in, man. He just said, turn that card in, man. It's been yeah, I mean, me and Severe, we talked about it early this week. We kind of called it how we seen it. It was just like, yeah, obviously there's good things that Ty Simpson did, but at the end of the day, you're kind of leaving out a lot of part of that, a part of that evaluation, and part of that evaluation is projection. You got to be able to project a quarterback, and you're talking about a Mendoza who is 6'4", 6'5", 230. And like you said, he checked a lot of boxes, and very important box. Heisman winner, obviously, but not even just that. Hold on one second. Severe, if you want to take it real quick.
Yeah, man, we kind of discussed it already. I don't think either one of these guys are worthy of being taken number one overall. I think if this was a better draft class period, not even just a better quarterback class, I think if this is a better draft class period, we'd be having a much more robust conversation about who will be taking number one overall. Mendoza doesn't go number one overall last year. I don't think he goes number one in any of the past 3 years, to be honest with you. I think a lot of those quarterbacks were just better prospects than he is. And then, there's the aspect of, him kind of being a one-year wonder. Did he have some success at Cal? Yes, he did, but nobody thought about Mendoza being a number one overall pick. Most of this year, nobody really thought about Mendoza being a number one overall pick. I think what he did late in the year, kudos to him. He came up huge. He came up in clutch moments, and that's what you want in the quarterback. You want a guy that's going to play big in big moments. He's going to take care of the ball. That's going to be, and it's going to do the right things not only on the field but off the field as well. And I think Mendoza checks a lot of those boxes. So I think Mendoza it is the safe pick. But like I said, I think Mendoza is a guy that he's like a 15 to 20 talent in most draft classes. Ty Simpson is probably late first, early second round pick, and he'll probably go about where he's supposed to. I think Mendoza's being pushed up. Some of it is scarcity at the position. I think some of it is also the narrative surrounding him.
Yeah. I mean, and the team sitting at 15 through 20, like, it's just, I'm not sure Orlovsky was honestly giving a take. I think it was just one of those things like, let's make headlines real quick. And it's, it's a slow news cycle sometimes, and they got to do that, resort to that. But like, I hear what people are saying, and I think you guys have probably seen this conversation. Like, if Cam Ward was in this draft, he'd be the best quarterback available. And what could he have done with that Miami roster that made it to the national champion? But it's like, that's a what if that we'll never be able to see. And like you said, you play based off of what the draft class is. And so for this year, like, it's a clear no-brainer. But again, I'm more excited to see the intangibles that have been missing in that Raiders locker room, like a leader that's a quarterback. And I think that's the thing, like Mendoza, before he ever throws a football, I think he'll make that impact, just committed to winning. And I think that's been missing. That's been missing with the franchise, just the commitment to excellence. I think people say it, but I think he lives it.
Yes, sir.
That's just my assessment.
Real quick, man, we got a caller, man. Let the people know your name, where you calling from.
Hey, man, it's Frank White calling out of LA, man. Representing Raider Nation.
Oh, that's what's up, man. What's on your mind?
Man, I just wanted to call in and speak about a few hot topics, man, what you guys were just talking about. I guess I'll start off with Fernando Mendoza. I think, what I really think he gets a bad rap just because of his personality. He kind of got a goofy type of personality, and I think that throws people off. It even threw me off. For a while, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of what was the guy, man, the quarterback from Florida, real Christian.
Tebow.
Well, he gave me Tebow vibes, right?
Yeah.
And then I sat back and I watched the tape. After I watched the tape, I'm like, man, this dude. Hey, I hate to say, you can't throw Big Brady like that, name like that, right? This dude reminds me a lot of Tom Brady, man. He got the height, the way, the anticipation that he throws with. I mean, it's a lot that I think that's why Tom Brady is drooling to get this guy into the organization. I think he's for sure the number one pick.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that statement 100%. I said that early on too. I'm like, because I remember, because look, the sad truth about the Raiders season is we were looking at the draft like literally after 4 or 5 games, we're like, all right, yeah, we know how this season's going. Let's look at which one of these quarterbacks. And we seen Mendoza early on. We seen the interviews, and we're like, man, like you were saying, Frank, we're looking at it like, I don't know, like he does come off a little goofy. Is this real? I know Severe, you were like, is this rehearsed? Like is he rehearsing the things he says? But then time after time, you kind of figured out like, nah, this is just who he is. And I think that's what matters at the end of the day. And
right.
And like you were saying, I said last year, I was like, man, Tom Brady, I could see this is a Tom Brady pick. And a lot of people have kind of like repeated that same sentiment. Like Tom Brady is looking for his type of quarterback, and his type of quarterback is him. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, like he wants a guy that is going to be the hardest worker in the building, which you want every quarterback to be that, but plays within the pocket. You know what I mean? Has that cerebral type of mindset of how you want to win that in that quarterback position. And I think that like Mendoza, I'm not trying to compare him to Tom Brady, and I agree with you. Like you can't compare him to Tom Brady, but at the same time, like you can see like, oh, Mendoza, like if he were to reach a certain potential or the sky's the limit, it's that part where you're like, wait, if he figures out how to play the quarterback position and he's playing chess while everybody's playing checkers, okay, that's where he can hit, like that's where you can like increase his potential.
Yeah.
Right, I agree 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, part of it,
And
you know. No, go ahead, brother.
Oh no, finish up, brother. Go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say it's part of it, you know, and I believe I sent it to you, Pharaoh. But part of it is, you know, I know a guy that you know, who has some connections to the Cal team, and you know, he knows I'm a Raiders fan. He knows I have a podcast, so he sent me some inside information. He said, you know, basically his buddy that's connected to the Cal team told him that what Mendoza is portraying to the media is not exactly who Mendoza really is. And he said, you know, part of the reason he left Cal was because there was some locker room stuff. Like I said, I don't know how true that is. You know, I sent the text to Pharaoh. I sent a text to a few other of my Raider fans, and you know, like I said, he's a guy that I speculated on some things. He said he didn't know about. I had some questions that he couldn't quite answer. So you know, I just take that for what it is. But immediately the first time I saw him, he looked inauthentic. It looked kind of fake, rehearsed, and he kind of said it. He kind of admitted as much later on when he was like, "Oh, you know, when I get up in front of media, I have to put on this." I think he had said a cuss word or something like that. And they were like, "Oh, you know, when I get in front of media, I have to, you know, it's my media training and I have to do this, and that." So, you know, as long as he's being his genuine self in the locker room, I think that's kind of all that matters. It doesn't matter kind of what he portrays to the media or what he says in these interviews, because that's for the benefit of, you know, just having good media relations, having a positive presence out there. As long as what he's in that locker room, he's doing what he's his actual self. And between those white lines, he's his actual self. I think that's what matters the most. So, no, so I'll kind of put those concerns to bed a little bit. I
mean, and I'll just add one last thing, man. I'll just say Indiana and Berkeley, California are two different environments. I've been to both places, and I just think if his goal ultimately was to get media training, because a large part of what a quarterback does is communicate. Mm-hmm. And if he feels, and to be honest, I should forget how he feels about how he needs to conduct himself, but the way he's conducted himself has translated to him being the odds-on favorite to be the number one pick. So, like, I get what you're saying. Like, what was the reason he left Cal? And I think now with the NIL landscape and people being able to jump ship to do what's best for them, I'm not saying that as, you know, a derogatory statement, but like, it's really big to kind of look at that context. And like, I can't remember the last time Cal was a competitive football team, but like you said, the NFL, if there was anything there, will bring it to the forefront, right? You guys had a situation, he shall remain nameless, but there was a player that you guys gave a lot of money to, and he hasn't been with the organization due to something that happened behind the scenes, right? So that's the cool thing about Fernando Mendoza. Like, you just don't have to really worry about off the field issues
in Vegas.
And that's the bigger part, right? Having experience with young players getting into bad situations, like, you know, with Henry Ruggs a few years back. So it's just one of those things, like, you make this investment, and again, it could decide how successful Clint Kubiak is. And so I think all that's left to do is play the games, right? But development is going to be a big part of anything regarding Mendoza's success.
Yes, sir.
No, facts.
And I wanted to ask one last question. Well, not a question, but I just want to put a little input. I think our roster is a lot better than we played last year. You know, I think the offensive coordinator, I think he really he came in and bullshitted us. You know, I don't know. He already had a bad rep anyway. I knew he wasn't a leader of men, so I was kind of like iffy about the situation. But we know we seen him at Ohio State, and it was like, you know, maybe the guy has changed. You know, years has been by. Maybe you know how to be in a football locker room. He was the same person from the rumors I heard, you know. But when I think about our roster, man, and I think about a guy like even Dante Thornton, right? I don't think the Raiders knew how to use him. and that's not his fault. It's the Raiders' fault. When I go back and look at film, I see defenses playing Dante Thornton like he's a number one receiver. He doubled over the top. I mean, I know he's a speed guy, but they're playing him like he's a threat. And I know Clint's gonna know how to use that guy. And then the Jack Ashes and those guys. I think they're gonna flourish under a guy like Clint Kubiak. Man, his system is amazing. Hopefully we can get one more receiver in the draft. I'm thinking about the guy Jacoby Lane out of USC. In the later rounds or something like that. What do you guys think about the current roster? Like, how far do you think we are from being a playoff team?
Look, you talk to Adal, what I mean? He's going to tell you, hey, he's one good offseason away. I'm looking at it. I'm a Raider fan with PTSD. So, I'm just going to throw that out there. But also, I'm also realistic at the end of the day. Like, I understand that the Raiders are not going to be able to address every hole on the roster. And
right.
Look, they did a really good job in free agency, kind of like attacking it and being super aggressive and addressing some of the spots they had on defense, which obviously is the linebacker position, edge. And this is them kind of attacking it, thinking that Max was going to be back. Max was traded away. But now Max is back. Now you got Max plus all these free agents. Kind of makes it seem like the defense is probably going to take a little bit of a jump. But we still need to see the offensive line improve. We still need a safety. Nickel still might be a question. I know we got Taron Johnson in a trade, but he's been hurt the last couple seasons, and so he's on a downward trend. Is it a good trade by the Raiders? Yeah, but is it a guarantee that he's going to be the starter for 17 games next season? I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of questions. Anytime there's more questions than answers, I'm gonna go towards like, all right, realistically, we're probably not going to be a playoff team, but we might see an improvement if Clint Kubiak is who Adele thinks he is. You know what I mean? One of the best offensive minded coaches. We might see an improvement if Rob Leonard, who's making the jump from defensive line coach to defensive coordinator, he kind of improves the unit as well, is in his first year. So I'm thinking like this season might be a transitional year, and then the following season, if they have a really good off season, then that's where you can start like, all right, maybe we can see the Raiders actually making a playoff push. But
right.
But what's your take, Severe?
I mean, a quarterback can change a lot for a franchise. We saw the Texans, we saw them go from picking number 2 overall to the playoffs, and they've been to the playoffs every year since. Just having a guy like that in the building, kind of lifts spirits, lifts expectations. And we saw the same with Jaden Daniels, where they went from picking number 2 overall once again to the NFC Championship game, right? Lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions in the Eagles. So having a quarterback that goes a long way. I will say that C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels, in my opinion, were both superior prospects to Mendoza. And then this roster is just so many question marks here. Where Clint Kubiak obviously is a big question mark there. Just having a guy that's going to have to take over the head coaching responsibilities as well as the play calling responsibilities. Like, that's a lot for a head coach to have to do. He decided to hire a quarterbacks coach. He has an offensive coordinator there. He also has some other experienced guys on the staff, so hopefully they're there and they can support him. But it's going to be a tough haul, especially when we're in a tough division already and we're playing a tough division in the NFC West this upcoming season. Then you should look at the rosters. How's the offensive line going to look? Obviously, Tyler Linderbaum was our big free agent acquisition. So we're hoping that kind of that acquisition right there will have ripple effects and kind of improve the play of other guys. Now people can kind of know where they're slotted. They're not going into the season with any question marks or being moved around because, a head coach has an ego or he wants something done a certain way. But then you start to look other areas, right? Ashton Jeanty. I'm not sold on Ashton Jeanty. being a franchise back, and now we're going to have a two back system. So who is that second back going to be? I don't think we have a number one receiver on this team. I don't even think we have a number two receiver on this team, to be honest with you. Right, our best weapon on offense is Brock Bowers, and then there's a bunch of question marks, a bunch of maybes, a bunch of we'll wait and sees, a bunch of hopes, but it's not a whole bunch of proven. What have you done for me? So it's hard for me to say that we can be a playoff team or have a lot of success when it's that many questions. Look at our secondary. What's our corners going to be? How good is Eric Stokes actually? Was this just the result of him really not getting a whole bunch of attention because teams were picking on Caillou Blue-Kelly on the other side of the field? They were picking on Darnay Holmes. They were picking on Devin White. So how good is Eric Stokes really when teams actually get out there and start targeting you? Are you going to be still an effective corner? Damian Porter, what does he look like in year two at corner? Our safeties, we talked about that already. And then you look at, Max Crosby. Like, is Max Crosby going to finish the year? Is he going to finish the year? Because the last 3 years, he has not. So there's a whole bunch of questions here. And then Robbie Leonard, his first year as defensive coordinator, it's a lot of question marks. It's a lot more questions than there are answers. So is there a possibility we can have this miraculous turnaround? Yeah, it's always possible, like as evidenced by the teams that have done it in the past and in the recent past. But would I bet my hard-earned money on it? Bishop Bullwinkle is what I got to say about that.
Man, hey.
Go
ahead.
To me, I feel like Max could still be on the move because I haven't really seen the organization, since he's been traded. Since he came back to us, I haven't really seen the organization say anything like okay, man, Max is here for the year. It seems like they're still open to trade him to me. Mm-hmm. They're just waiting on the right move.
For sure. There is a possibility. I think for the Raiders, it's always going to be the right deal. It has to be the right deal. And the right deal was 2 first-round picks, which, if that trade actually went through, home run offseason for SpyTech. Home run. It's been a good offseason without it, but it's a home run offseason with those 2 first-round picks, because now you start building towards a future, which includes Fernando Mendoza, which is basically gonna be your franchise guy if you pick him number 1. So that being said,
I gotta add this real quick, man, because I've been thinking about it. AFC West is playing the NFC West next season, so I got a proposition for Raider fans, Raider Nation. When we play each other, obviously, man, there's no letting up. But I think there's a way for the Raiders to get into the playoffs. And as a Niner fan, as someone who drives past the Coliseum and sees the emptiness, I will promise you that the Niners will take care of business for y'all when we play the AFC West. And so that way we'll increase the win totals for y'all. But all jokes aside, I'm being serious. I do think it's going to be war of attrition. And I just don't see the Raiders repeating what they did last year. And I think it'll come down to the last 3 games of the season. Now, it's up to them if they want to have that development. The players got to make a choice at some point, but I think those habits from previous teams are no longer here. And so I'll just say it like that. I think when the Niners and Raiders play, I hope it's a little bit later in the season so that the teams are more developed and it's a good game. The last time Niners and Raiders played, it was a good game, man. The Niners were down 10 going into the 4th in Las Vegas. Devontae Adams was still with the team. So a part of why I'm so optimistic about the Raiders is because I also don't want to see a bad game when we play the Niners and the Raiders. I just do not want to see a bad game. So those are my 2 cents right there, Raider Nation. Do with that what you will.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and before I leave, I just got one more pushback question from my guy who said he really wasn't sold on Ashton Jenkins. Because I thought, I seen some good and bad from the kid, right? Even with the vision, and I hate a running back that has bad vision, right? But I also seen some good things from the kid, that makes you think he's special, So what is it about it that you didn't like?
I just don't think he has explosiveness. I don't think he has vision to the hole. I don't think he has explosiveness through the hole. I think there's several times on film where he turned down smoke. And if you're a running back that's supposed to be all about, I'm the break tackle guy, when you're one-on-one in the hole with a linebacker, bro, I want a guy that wants to smoke. When you're one-on-one on the sideline with the corner, I don't want you ducking out of bounds for negative yardage. You're one-on-one with a corner. Make that guy miss or run through, or put a shoulder pad in that dude's chest, make him not want to tackle you again. Like when I see my running back turning down smoke, and I don't care for what reason. Oh, it was a bad season, and he was bro. Then you're mentally weak. If you allowing that bad season to say, okay, now I'm not even gonna give my effort on the field, that tells me all I need to know about you just as a player and as a man right there. So if that's what the excuse is going to be, which I don't think it is, then that's a major negative. I just don't think he's a guy that's ever going to be elite. I don't think he's a guy that's ever going to be able to justify being the 6th overall pick. I think Ashton Jeanty is going to be a good NFL running back. I think Ashton Jeanty he'll probably make a Pro Bowl in his career. I think he can be a good player. I don't think he'll ever be an elite player. And if I'm taking a running back at 6, I need a guy that's going to be an elite player. And if you're telling me the reason he wasn't good is because of all of the things around him, well, if I'm drafting you at 6, your job is to make all the things around you better. And you did not do that.
No, I mean, I could partially agree with that. I mean, because I would say, man, the offensive line, when you're a running back, once you start realizing, hey, this offensive line sucks, you just naturally playing this game out. Because I coach youth football. You're gonna, even at the highest level. I watch, and this is not even a Ashton Jeanty thing. I watched football for a long time. I watched the greatest of, running backs. You deal with a bad offensive line, they kind of get in your head. It's almost like the thing with the quarterback. They play. Their whole gameplay is based off what that offensive line is going to do. If you kind of understand that. So man, I would give a guy another chance because I like what I've seen from him. I like him in the pass pro. I feel like he catch out of the backfield and make something happen. And I feel like he's dangerous once he gets past the first wave of defense. So, I mean, that's what I think. And then I'm going to just end it, Frank's right. I'll hop in the chat and stick around, man. But, you guys have a good night.
Well, I appreciate you, Frank.
Man. Appreciate you, man. Great call, man. Appreciate you.
All right. All right, man. Hey, man, Frank, man, we had some good calls today, man. Man. Hey, you bringing out good calls today, man. Appreciate it.
Right, man. Usually people be scared to call in, bro. They must see a welcome. He hit them with some hopium, man. He had some hope in the team. They're like, man, I'm
come on, man.
Oh man, you see the number on the screen, 856-209-5978. I know someone called in. If you want to call back in and get a call before before we wrap it up, call in. The caller number again is 856-209-5978. Man, we appreciate all the calls, man. We appreciate the support. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, and hey, here we go, man. We got another call. Hold on 1 second. Severe, man, if you can hit up the chat real quick.
Yeah, man. So everybody's saying Tim Brown announced that Bear Robbins passed away, man. So like about an hour ago. So I've been looking. I've looked several times to check. I'm checking periodically to see if it says it on there. I've yet to see it. So if Tim Brown's putting it out there, man, I have no reason to think that it's not true, man. So if so, man, RP Bear Robbins, man, he was a guy that played some really good football for the Raiders, man, was a Pro Bowl center, I think an all-pro center the year we went to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, mental health got the better of him at that time, and he was dealing with some stuff in his personal life. I think he was able to pick up the pieces, or I heard he was able to pick up the pieces recently, but, hearing that he tragically passed, man, I don't know the circumstances surrounding it, so I'm just, sending positivity to the entire Bear Robbins family, and obviously to the rest of the Raider Nation, anybody that had any attachment to him at all.
Condolences, yeah.
Yeah, man. But up to my guy's point, man, about the Ashton Jeanty thing, the problem I have is that before the year, people weren't making those excuses for Jeanty, right? Ashton Jeanty was the odds-on favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, above the quarterbacks. And then preseason comes and he doesn't play well. And I pointed out, like, his vision looked kind of bad right here. If people are, oh, this is preseason, he's only got 3 carries. But then I think the next game we played the Niners, and then he ran over Lenore. And it's like, oh man, you see Ashton Genty, he run. I'm like, bro, he ran over a cornerback that really don't like to tackle. So like, I'm not about to get all hyped up. Exactly. I'm not about to get all hyped up about that. But they erased that. This is just preseason stuff. That next game, and then all through the years, it was everything around Ashton and not Ashton. If you telling me that he needed the offensive line, all this stuff, well, that's all well and good. That's understandable. But then we should have just, in the deepest running back class of all time, potentially, we had an opportunity to draft several linemen, to do all this other stuff and draft a running back late and get more production out of them. So that's why I'm saying, if I'm drafting you at 6, I don't want to hear the excuses of what you needed around you, especially at running back. That's not a premium position, because I'm drafting you to be that special player and to do special things on a consistent basis. And he had flashes, but like all play, they're like, not say all play, but if you're a talented player and you put in positions, you're gonna have flashes. Denarius Moore had flashes, right? And then he turned out to not be a good NFL player. So we've seen flashes out of guys. Brian Edwards had a game where he had flashes. It's like I don't want to hear he had you see this glimmer. I want consistency out of a guy, and if I can't get that,
but he's had more production than some of the guys that you're using as example. I understand that he had
yeah. But he actually had he had more opportunities too.
But there's been plenty of guys who had opportunity, but they didn't do nothing with that opportunity.
Yeah, because Ashton Genty doesn't suck.
All the thing that we can hang on is maybe a play here and there, and hopefully they make a jump. But with Ashton Genty, he's flashed. He's gave some production, but obviously there's some things that he needs to work out. I mean, it was his first year as a rookie. Obviously, you want more from a number 6 overall pick. But I think, like the last caller, Frank, shout out to Frank, he pointed out is that no matter what, the running back position is a dependent position. It's very dependent on the offensive line. And that's the relationship that a running back has to have. Like, there has to be at least an average offensive line. You know what I mean? Especially now, if we get to that average offensive line, and you know what? Before I just want to get to it, man. We do have a caller, and I know Ado has to go real quick. Who can you caller? Give your name and where you calling from.
Yo, Coach.
I knew it was gonna be good. Did I say let me coach?
Coach, he must be.
Coach.
He doesn't want to say where you from, man.
Yeah.
Coach said I thought he said he's in LA before, or he on the West Coast.
He on the West Coast? All right.
Yeah, I think he said LA before. I don't remember.
Sidetrack me, all right? I was just telling Pharaoh, because you're sidetracking last week with Omni, all right? I don't want to talk about Omni right now. Listen, all right? Now, Severe, you keep going at Mendoza about his proclivities and his which way he's leaning. Listen. I have a close friend, all right? Just listen to me. I have a close friend. He's close with Mendoza. This dude, he's slaying it. He's slaying it on the low, all right? He loves Latina.
Come on,
and
bro.
I'm not even a big Mendoza fan or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But hey, you gotta keep it a buck. All right. Now I don't know why Severe keeps coming at them, man. Maybe it's because Severe is only 6'4" and Mendoza's 6'5".
You remember his height?
As the women say, every inch counts. All right.
First of all,
He just boys. Come on, Coach.
Hey, I keep it 100.
First of all,
I don't know what's going on here, Coach. What's going on here?
Hey, man. Hey, look, obviously, Coach got a problem with you, dissing Mendoza. It is what it is, man. We all know he's going to be the number 1 pick at the end of the day. But hey, Coach, we appreciate you calling in. As our host got to leave in a second, but we appreciate you calling in and supporting the show as always, man. Appreciate you, my guy.
All right. Hey, so Colin Kaepernick, what's up?
Hey, bro.
He got it in. I know he got it. I know you always trying to.
He had to get his joke off real soon.
He had to. But real quick, man, we got to address this real quick. I know Severe, you probably addressed it already, but rest in peace, Bear Robbins, man. Oakland Raiders center. The last time the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, he was an all-pro center for the Raiders. RIP. passed away in his sleep. Shout out to Raider Resistance. He was on it. He said Tim Brown announced it. Okay, that's official. That's official. But yeah, man, RIP to Barrett Robbins, former Raider great center. Man, it's prayers to his family. But my guy, Adal Usman NFL in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Hey, having a great conversation. Hey, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and on the tails of that Barrett Robbins announcement, anybody out there struggling with mental health, just make sure that you're not alone. There's plenty of people who love you, would be more than willing to support you, no matter what the circumstances look like. I try to do that for the people in my life, as best as I can. But if I'm not somebody that you can reach out to, obviously you guys are people that can help with that. But beyond that, just know you're not alone and fight the good fight. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. For myself, man, I'm new to the space. I'm covering the San Francisco 49ers, so Adal Osman NFL on Instagram and YouTube. More so on Instagram, I'm actively posting on things that are going on. Got some interviews in the pipeline. And I've told you some of the bigger visions that I've got. So, you guys can find me there. And 49th and 6th is literally 49th and 6th is the San Francisco 49ers page. And be on the lookout next week. I got something coming through the pipeline, man. I appreciate you too, man. Severe Pharaoh, man. You guys made it fun. But beyond that, man, we got a Niners Raiders showdown that I'm looking forward to this year. So, let's make sure that we stay in touch. And we'll see whose predictions and, optimism or pessimism was right, but thank you for giving me your time today, man. I had a good time, and shout out to Around the Shield, man. This is big time. Raider Nation. It's love.
Appreciate you coming through. And now we're going to tap in with each other too, because obviously we're going to have future shows and we're going to do mock drafts. Hopefully we can get you on again to do a mock draft, maybe like a first round, two round mock draft, something like that. We'll figure it out. But obviously the 49ers are going to be on the schedule this year, so I know Raider fans are looking forward to that. And hey, Raider fans, hey, go and give them a follow, man. You gotta study thy enemy. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got to figure out what's going on over there, because the Raiders are going to play them, so we want to know what's going on. So go ahead and give my guy a follow. And he doesn't just talk about the 49ers. Obviously, this guy is very informed on what's going on around the NFL. You see him talking about the Raiders, so he knows what's going on with the team. So definitely give him a follow on IG as well as YouTube as well. So you subscribe to my guy, and hopefully we'll have you on here soon, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
No doubt, man. Around the Shield, man. Y'all doing it big, bro. I'm letting you know, man. This premier Raider content right here. If you're not following, please go ahead and do that, because this is the year that things change. Remember what I said.
All right, man. We'll see, man. All right, man. We'll see y'all. We'll see you soon, bro. All right, bro.
Salute. Y'all be good, man.
All right, you too, bro. All right, man. That's my guy, Adal Usman NFL, man. Definitely check him out. Hey, man, we appreciate the calls. We appreciate everybody coming through, tuning in. Definitely clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Starting next week, I think that is going to be a good time perfect time, actually. It's less than a month, less than a month till the draft. So it's time to start these the mock drafts. Usually, last off season we kind of started a little bit earlier than this, but I think the reason why we didn't start it that early, because come on, we all know who the number one pick is.
Exactly.
And usually that first round of mock drafts, we just do the first round and all the scenarios that go with that. And we'll do that, but obviously it's about figuring out who the Raiders are going to get in the second round.
Exactly.
And we'll look at all the possibilities. So we're gonna do mock draft starting next week. So make sure to tune in, as well as we'll open up the lines. Hopefully we'll have a guest. 50-50 show next week. Definitely tune in on Tuesday as usual. Give me a follow, PharoahNFL, all over social media, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hey, my guy, the Severe Raider, if you haven't already, you guys are watching over on my channel. Whoever hasn't subscribed, head over to Severe Raiders channel and subscribe. You're just a few few subscribes away from getting to 2K, a big number. Definitely give my guy a follow. And yeah, man, let the people know where they can find you. What to look forward to, all the good stuff, man.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, IG, Snapchat, TikTok, X, everywhere. The Severe Raider. Obviously, Tuesdays and Thursdays, man, with PharoahNFL, the 50-50 show and Around the Shield, and then Sundays and Wednesdays with Christian Protect the Shield and 805 Raider in the Raider War Room, and then Monday, switch it up a little bit, do some more broader sports talk with some other guys, man. My guys, Big Mike and Dylan. So make sure y'all tap in with that as well, man. And yeah, I'm gonna be at the draft, man. So if anybody's gonna be at the draft, make sure y'all tap in with your boy. And I love to meet y'all face to face, except you, Coach. I know that last comment, bro.
He's like Severe. You know how Severe is 6'4", 200. Nah, man, it's all jokes, man. My guy, Coach always be clowning. He always be clowning in the chat, man.
Right, he calls in every week too. That's how I knew he was calling. As soon as he called, I knew it was him, man. But yeah, man. If you haven't done so already, man, make sure you like the video. Make sure you hype the video. Leave a comment in the comment section, man. Head over to my dog Pharaoh's channel. Make sure y'all support. If y'all watching on Twitter or anything, or y'all on X or Twitter or whatever, make sure y'all hit the YouTube and support the content over here, man. We try to do it big. We're not a channel that's going to try to say the things that is going to make us popular. We try to say the things that's going to be as honest as possible and give people the most realistic look at this team. So that being said, we probably won't get a lot of players on here, probably won't get a lot of people associated with the Raiders organization, but that's the sacrifice we make to bring actual realism to you guys and not just trying to feed you guys a company line. And all we ask for in return is the support.
Yes, sir. And I'll add on to that, and I'll say that we'll eventually get some players, we'll get some coaches, but we're looking for a very specific guest.
Exactly.
Because what we want in return is just supreme honesty. Just give us the truth. Give it the truth.
Unbiased.
And we understand what players and coaches who are connected to the teams and are still in it, what the dilemma is when sometimes they do these interviews and these podcasts. They can't say everything that they want to say. So I'm just gonna put that out there, and we're gonna make sure we work on that for y'all, man. But Terrence, man, salute to you. Appreciate you coming through. He says, when are y'all going live again? I'll call in. So next time we go live is the 50-50 show every Tuesday. But as far as calling in, our call-in show is every Thursday. Thursday evening nights. Same thing with 50-50 show. Is going to be every evenings and nights, depending on where you're at. So I don't know the time. So usually, around like 8 Pacific Standard Time, 8-ish. Pacific.
Hit the notification bell, Terrence.
If you Midwest, that's 10. Just hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. But as far as the call-in show, it's every Thursday around the Shield. We're making this a consistent thing, so definitely tune in. Make sure to like Severe said, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live, and you can call in next time. But yeah, we appreciate the calls, man. We love tapping in with Raider Nation and talking Raider football, sports, all that good stuff. Well, hey, you know what? Hey, we got to get Dante on here, man. Dante is definitely one of the guys that we would love to get on here to you break down Simpson, have to get Gridiron Apex. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll work on that too. Behind the scenes, we're trying to get as much people as possible on Around the Shield, man. That's our goal. Sometimes it's hard to get everybody on sometimes, but we'll try our best to get everybody on so we can have that conversation. And yeah, man, hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Please, on the way out, like I said, man, make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Nah, man, like Pharaoh said, man, make sure y'all tap in, man, hit the notification bell. Y'all can catch us next Tuesday on the 50-50 show, man. Make sure y'all support both channels, and make sure y'all support our guy Dow, man. He was a cool dude. He think we gonna be better than anybody I've heard so far, man. So
Hey, and you know what's so good about that perspective is he's a non-Raider fan. He's not a Raider fan. He's not, but he's very objective though. It's not even about being fans. We're fans of the team, but we're very objective. Like we're just honest. Like we're not gonna sugarcoat it. Like if something is bad, we're gonna call it and say it's bad. If it's good, it's good. So that's the difference from what you get from this channel and other channels. But Adal, he's the guy that, you know, who's not connected. Has no affiliation with the Raiders, but he just likes what he's seeing from that team, from the fact that everybody's on alignment as far as he sees it. He sees like, and we've talked about it too as well. Like, you know, how we loved how they conducted that coaching search. Yeah. How that was the most thorough coaching search that I've seen from the Raiders. I think ever. And then and obviously the other moves, as well as you know, he's high on Clint Kubiak. Obviously he's familiar with him being the offensive coordinator in the NFC West for the Seahawks, so he understands who he is. Very high on him. And then you combine that with Mendoza, so he's high on. Hey, look, I'm just saying. Hey, Raider fans, watch the replay. Definitely watch the replay. DK says great guy. Hey, yeah, for sure. Very knowledgeable, knows his stuff. If you want to check him out more, Adal Usman NFL on YouTube as well as IG. So definitely give him a follow there, as well as subscribe to his channel. Man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Salute, Jeff, man. We on the way out, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, man, we'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.